Hello and welcome to the C++11 Beginner Tutorials by Gamer2Creator. I'm Chris. Last time we talked about while loops. This time we're going to talk about for loops. These two ideas are related, but a for loop has some extra possibilities for it, where you can actually declare a variable and then do something with it all on one line. That's not technically part of the surrounding code. Let me explain. So this is the basic layout of a for loop. First, you have your declaration area. Followed by the condition area, and then finally the math area, where you can say increment a value. Each one is separated by a semicolon. Now, a very, very simple one that you'll probably see a lot is int I equals 0. So we've declared and assigned an integer I to 0. Here, our condition for our loop, just like in the while loop, it has a condition. I is less than, we're going to say, 10. Over here, we can increment I. We can use the ++ operator, which just adds 1 to I. This is the prefix operator. There's also the postfix operator. But the prefix operator is the correct one to use in most cases. We have been doing it like this. We can still do it like this, but it's much prettier if you do this. So now what we have here is a loop that will run 10 times. Because I is 0 to begin the loop, then the condition is less than 10. Because we start at 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 are all correct values of this loop. And that's 10 total values. So when you use the less than and a number and you start at 0, that's exactly how many times it's going to loop if you increment it by 1. This is a very common way of writing this loop. So now we can do something 10 times. To prove this is actually 10, let's have another int and say total equals 0. And then we're going to add 1 to total on every iteration. And then we're going to print it out just before the application exits. And as you see, we have printed out 10 because it executed exactly 10 times. We can make it execute 15 times if we wish. Now, this can be written as a while loop. And I'll go ahead and do that now. This while loop does the exact same thing. We just use J as our condition. What we've done with our for loop is we've moved creating our increment value to right here and put our condition right here and then our increment right here. So it's just a way of putting all of the loop code itself, all the stuff that controls the loop, up here on one line. And since these three things are very common to looping, it's a pretty handy way of doing it. And we can go down here and also print out total while, and we'll put a new line in here, and it prints out 15 both times. And again, you use a for loop probably most of the time when going over an array or something of a size. And you use a while loop a lot of times for like controlling program flow to make code do something multiple times, but usually not over something like an array. But you can. That's just the typical usages. In the next lesson, we're going to go over comparison operators a little bit more and try to break those down and introduce a couple other operators.